Zoom Webinar does not automatically turn on when you purchase a Zoom license. Yes, Zoom Webinar is an add-on. And so in this video, we're going to show you how to add on Zoom Webinar to your Zoom account. It has to be a license or premium account, meaning you are paying Zoom some money. And number two, because it is an add-on, it is an additional charge. You can do it based on month, you can do it for the year, and also you can do it or add on even more of the Zoom Webinar based on the amount of attendees. So we're going to walk you through all of that, so stay tuned. So the first step is to log into your Zoom account. So go ahead and go to www.zoom.us. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the words sign in. Go ahead and click on that. As soon as you click on sign in, you will be prompted to log in. So go ahead and put in your email address and password if you already have a Zoom account, or those 4 different options that you see below there that allows you to sign in a different way. As soon as you log in, you'll see what I call the Zoom dashboard. So this is where you can see all of the different things that are happening on the back end of your Zoom account. So we're going to actually go now and have Webinar be added on to your account. Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. Well, there's more than one way to do this. So I'm just going to walk you through the easiest way so that you can see all the pricing and everything and how it all works. So go ahead in the upper kind of left-hand corner of your screen, you'll see some words that say plans and pricing. All right, so as you can see here, Zoom is laying out all the plans, all the pricing. And this is actually all determined by an annual basis. You can simply change it if you would like, because again, with Zoom Webinar and other add-ons, you don't have to pay for the full year. You can do it on a monthly basis and cancel it at any time. You see this little toggle button here, blue button, just go ahead and click on over to monthly, and then you'll see that the prices have automatically changed. So as you can see here, this is the Pro, Business Plan, and Basic. Well, Basic is free, and we don't need to worry about Basic, right? Because in order to get Webinar, you have to have an actual paid license. So here it is on a monthly, and then also on annually. So in order to add on Zoom Webinar, at the very top there, underneath plans and pricing, you'll see these various tabs. One other thing that I want to bring to your attention is this is based on a business license. You can always change this to a personal license as well. And as you can see, it changes here as options. And also we can toggle back and forth between annual and monthly. And this tab here, Zoom Events and Webinars, right here you'll see Zoom Webinars, Zoom Sessions, and Zoom Events. Don't worry about the sessions and events. We're just simply talking about Zoom Webinar. So that's the very first choice on the very left. And what I love what Zoom does is it lets you know pricing based on capacity here. So this is saying attendee capacity. So this is based on 100. It goes up to 500, 1,000, 3,000, 10,000 plus. So by toggling what you're expecting to be, the price will automatically update, as you can see here. So notice one thing here though, and this is how Zoom gets you. In order to get Zoom Webinar, notice that I have it at 100. But if you look at under Zoom Webinar, it says it can only be turned on at 500 and above. So you can't do a Zoom Webinar at 100, you all. In order to turn on Zoom Webinar, you got to go to 500 and above. So when I click on 500, you'll notice how the Zoom Webinar section just changed. So as you can see here, if you buy now, this will be $79 per month or $690 per year. And this is having 500 attendees in your Zoom Webinar. Now, of course, if we increase the amount of attendees, it will change. But for the sake of this, let's also look at per attendee. All right, so we are now on pay per attendee. So notice that now the capacity or the numbers, the minimum to the maximum have changed, right? So it's no longer starting at a minimum of 100, it's starting at a minimum of 50. So we already know though, what the rules are. So we can't turn on Zoom Webinar unless we have 500 and above. But what's really interesting here, notice when I go to 100, then I go to this next one, and even here, we still don't see anything for Zoom Webinar, because guess what? This is how Zoom gets you again. Zoom is saying right here that it can only be turned on if you're doing the recurring subscription. So this particular one, I just want to share this with you because as you can see on the screen, this is new and something that Zoom is testing out as the pay per attendee. This is predominantly for Zoom sessions and for Zoom events. So a brief recap when it comes to Zoom webinar. Number one, you must be on a recurring subscription, whether that's annually or monthly. And then number two is you have to have the minimum of 500 attendees and above. So let's go back and change everything from pay per attendee to the recurring subscription. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on the 500 mark. And with Zoom webinars, just to keep this very simple, click on the blue Buy Now button. Zoom gives you a bunch of options, of course, based on attendees as far as the amount. So we're going to do the 500 as stated before. Now this is all the pricing for just one license. You can include multiple licenses here and increase how you would like that. But as you can see here, what I love is that Zoom now gives you three options. Before, it used to be just monthly and annual, and then you had to set a calendar or something to remind yourself if you wanted to cancel it. I love now that they offer a one-time or auto-renew of the monthly price or the annual price. So for the sake of this, let's just do monthly here. And you saw the order summary change. All you got to do is scroll all the way to the bottom and click on the continue button. This will lead us to the next page where Zoom is going to summarize everything just to make sure everything looks good here. And as you can see, it has my payment method already here. All you got to do is click on place order and boom, Zoom webinar has been turned on. However, there is a second step. So don't freak out. If you've done this and you're like, wait, where is everything? I still don't see anything. Monique, you had me do this and it's not working. Don't worry, there is a part two. So let's get into that right now. Once you've done your purchase, you'll receive a confirmation. You'll get the invoice in your email, all from Zoom. Now it's a matter of getting back to the dashboard. Zoom will automatically push you to that, or if not, just go ahead and log in or just go to zoom.us. As you can see here, here's the dashboard. Now the second step is because you just purchased the Zoom webinar add-on, it's included as, or it is categorized as a Zoom license. With that said, you need to assign that Zoom license. So let's walk you through that in just a moment here. Click on user management. There's a little drop down that happens here. Go ahead and go to users, click on that. And it's going to list all the users in your particular Zoom account. For the sake of this, it's just showing me. But what I can do here is I can add a user, I can do different things here, I can edit it. What you will see is once that you have purchased your Zoom webinar license, you will be able to see an option here where it says Zoom webinars, and the license will be turned on right here. So for the sake of this, you don't see it here. So let's actually show an account of what that would look like. But I love that Zoom allows you to buy directly from here versus the process we did previously in order to do it. So I can click on that and it's gonna direct me to a Zoom webinar license. Remember when I said there's more than one way to skin a cat when it comes to turning on Zoom webinar? Well, here's an alternative way to do so. Now let's jump to an account where the Zoom webinar license is turned on so you can see what it looks like under users. And again, you go to user management, select users, select the name that you want to assign that Zoom webinar license to, just click on edit and select it, and then everything will be turned on like magic. As you can see here, this is where it's saying license Zoom webinar 500. So if I were to click on edit here, this is how it would appear. You would have Zoom webinar here, it would be unchecked. Go ahead and check it, and then click on that lovely blue save button. Once you do that, all of the wonderful Zoom webinar settings, bells and whistles, branding, and customization will appear, and then you're on your way to hosting and conducting an amazing Zoom webinar. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe for the next video if you want to see more of Zoom webinar settings, but more specifically, how to customize and brand it so that you have an amazing Zoom webinar experience. Be sure to watch the next video and subscribe to the channel.